Hey guys, welcome to Banned Book Week, Day 2. So today we're talking about To Kill a Mockingbird. So To Kill a Mockingbird was written in 1960 by Harper Lee, but it takes place in 1933 in Alabama. So you can imagine what we're in for. So this book was banned because there was a theme of rape, and the novel was immoral. There's also been issues because of racial slurs, language. I saw one thing that said drinking. That I don't really get. That didn't really make sense to me. The language didn't really make sense to me either. I mean, yeah, like they use damn and the B word, but not really in the sense that they usually use the B word in novels. Like, I only remember them using it really in like reference to a dog, but maybe it was like in reference to like comparing a woman to a dog. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into it. So this book was not what I expected. I did not expect to enjoy this book like I did. So my impression of To Kill a Mockingbird was just what I had seen from stills from the movie, which were all just black and white stills of a courtroom and like a trial taking place. Like that's literally all I have seen from that movie until I had read this book. So like I literally thought that that's all this book was like the trial. That is so not the case at all. The whole trial and everything, like the crime, the trial, everything, that doesn't even happen to like halfway or like maybe even over halfway into the book. There is so much more to this novel than I ever expected. So, To Kill a Mockingbird follows Jean Louise Finch, aka Scout, through a couple years of her childhood in the 1930s. More pointedly, like the couple of years, like the year leading up to, and then the year or two that her father, Atticus Finch, which is like the greatest name ever. I'm sorry, I love that name, Atticus. Is appointed to be the lawyer of this African American man who is Tom Robinson, who is accused of raping a white woman in their town. And yeah, so I was shocked to find out like none of that even happens until a ways into the book. The rest of the book is just this really nice story of Scout growing up and learning to deal with growing up in this time of this racial tension and the Great Depression, and just like seeing her family dynamics with her brother Jem, her father Atticus, who, by the way, I know like there's a bunch of stuff about Atticus Finch, and I'll get to that later. But in this book, I love Atticus Finch, and I love the relationship he has with his children. One, they don't call him dad or father or whatever. They call him Atticus, and I love that. Both his children call him Atticus. And he has just this insanely, like, open, like, relationship with his children. He doesn't try to like just blatantly hide things from his children. But he also doesn't, like, throw things in their face, too, and, like, overly expose them. Like, he will explain things to them at their, like, age-appropriate level. Or ask them, like, do you know what this means? And if they don't, he will explain things to them. Like, I just really love his relationship with them. And for the time period, like, sometimes fathers weren't huge on affection. And every night, Scout crawls up into his lap and he teaches her to read, which is very endearing to me. I love that. The children don't have a mother. She died. Kind of in her place, they have this African American, like, she's not a servant. She's paid. Like, that sounds horrible. She's gonna try and, like, not say the wrong thing here, because I know who I am in this life. But, lost my place. Calpurnia. They call her Cal. And throughout the book, another aspect of this book I loved. You get to watch Scout's relationship and viewpoint of Cal change. She goes from just this helper, the help in their home, and you watch Scout's relationship with her change to, like, Scout realizing that, no, I love Cal. She's family. Like, she's an integral part of my life that I need and I want in my life. And that is a huge part of this book that I loved. And another aspect of Atticus Finch that endeared me to him, his main gospel in this entire book is encouraging people to put themselves in someone else's shoes, to walk a mile in someone else's skin, and try and see things from others' perspectives, to try and see how they would feel in situations and see what they're going through. And, like, the thing that blows my mind that I don't think people really focus on enough is, yes, this book is problematic from our standpoint today. They say the N-word an upsetting amount of times. And there are characters in this book that you're like, wow, this is not okay. And I get that. It's 2021. It's almost 2022. This book was written in the 60s. This takes place in the 30s. You have to realize how times have changed. And you cannot rewrite history. You can't ignore history. You need to embrace how things used to be. And maybe appreciate that, hey, we're not there anymore. Like, let's not go back to that. Like, look at it. Really look at how African American people, I mean, not just African American people, all minorities were treated back then. Look at it. Stare it straight in the face through the eyes of this novel and be like, yeah, hey, how about we not go back to that? Like, that was just one of the aspects of this novel I really loved. It's hard and really at times gut-wrenching to read. But we need that. As society, and especially, like, I get it. I get who I am in this life. Yeah, I may have grown up super poor, but I still know the color of my skin. I get it. I can't ever, like, fully understand what other people go through. Maybe I need to read how people got treated. And I get that this is still from a white perspective. Maybe I need to read more novels from an African American's perspective. Because the way people were treated, that's not okay. And maybe it's okay for us to feel bad about it. Yeah, we didn't do it. We can still feel bad about it so that we never go back to that place. Like, that's awful. Let's never get back there. I got off on a tangent there. Calpurnia is also awesome. She's sassy. She takes care of these kids that aren't hers. She has grown kids of her own, man. But she cares about these kids. They are like her own kids. And even though sometimes they treat her like crap, she still loves them. And she acts like as their moral compass at times, which is good. They need it. Like, they really need it, especially in the town they live in. Like, there's some really horrible people in the town they live in. Really racist, awful people. And there's just, like, good, interesting characters in this book. There's Maddie Atkinson. She's, like, a good, like, a white woman character you can actually like and appreciate in this novel. And then there's Boo Radley, who's, like, the hermit mystery character that you don't really get to, like, see or know a lot about, and like you kind of don't know if you're ever going to get closure or if you should even still care about this character. And then the payoff at the end is like amazing. I was not expecting it, and yeah, no, the payoff at the end is just wrap it in a little bow. It just it's wonderful. Harper Lee, you're amazing. So yeah, everything I knew about this book was centered around this racially charged trial. But the book is so much more than that. So I really like this book. I highly recommend it. I don't think I would recommend it for like grade school kids. I mean, high school, I definitely, like, nothing about the rape is explicit. It's never described. It's all very like 1930s, 1960s, like PG. It's very, yeah. There's a little violence. There's some violence, yes. And I mean, I think the biggest issue is the racism. The N-word is said. Whew, I mean, you could probably Google how many times it is said, and it's hellacious. But, and the fact that the rape claim is false. It never actually happened. It's made up. Which I guess would lead me to also say that there is incest, implied incest. But it's like, it's not just implied, like, it happened in the book. Obviously, again, like, not described, but it's like, oh yeah, like, that happened. So, yeah. I mean, definitely appropriate for high schoolers, and like I said, I feel like it's a necessary read, like. So now, because after I read the book, I plan on watching the movie, but I always, just to like, I write my script, my notes, and then I usually like watch some backup stuff, like usually crash course literature is a good thing to watch. But I don't think this was a crash course literature video. Maybe it was. I don't know. But I was watching a video on To Kill a Mockingbird, and then they were talking about some of the like messed up stuff with Go Set the Watchman, which is the sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. Which when I finished To Kill a Mockingbird, and I was like, oh yeah, like, a long time later, there was a sequel. I'm gonna like when I get done with all my banned books, I'm gonna go read that, because I'm super excited. If there's more I can learn about Scout, sign me up. Yes, please. Because Scout, as a character, I freaking love her. She is sassy, independent. I love her. She's amazing. So I was so excited to learn more about her. But then I was watching this video about To Kill a Mockingbird, and they went into more detail about Go Set the Watchman. And apparently, it's awful, because Harper Lee might not have been in her right mind when someone close to her found this incomplete manuscript and went, oh, is this a sequel? And basically might have manipulated her into, like, releasing this novel that wasn't complete and wasn't even a sequel to Kill Mockingbird. And apparently in Go Set the Watchman, Atticus Finch is a completely different character who is wildly racist. And I'm not okay with that, because he's literally one of my favorite characters I've ever read. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, my husband was like, wow, you need to write some stuff down, because you have a lot of feelings right now once we finished that video. Because I was so upset about hearing that all of a sudden Atticus is this racist who attends KKK meetings and doesn't want his town overrun by African Americans in this sequel. And I'm like, that's not the character I fell in love with in To Kill a Mockingbird. And who basically risked his life to defend Tom Robinson. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I can understand why people who initially read and loved To Kill a Mockingbird and then read Go Set the Watchman might be a little pissed off, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, now I am not so sure I'm going to read Go Set the Watchman, because that makes me really angry. Alright guys, well that will do it for Banned Book Week Day 2. Let me know what you guys think about To Kill a Mockingbird, if you have read it, if you liked it. Any thoughts you have on Go Set the Watchman. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna ruin one of my favorite characters ever. Not gonna do it. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Alright, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.